Hello and welcome to another week of Live with yours truly, Dr. Stem. I hope you had a great week. Mine has been a little bit more busy. It's been busier than normal, but you know what? I am grateful for being busy because there are many people that are looking for jobs, looking for work. Their businesses may be a little bit slow. My business is going well and, really thriving and keeping me busy. So I'm grateful for that. How was your week? I hope that all is well and things are going well for you. So this is getting to be interesting. So every Tuesday I come on and I'm live on all my social media platforms at the same time, right? But what's so intriguing is you tend to just run short of what do I want to talk about, this week? What can we talk about this week? So really, truly, listen. I'm looking for guests that can come and play with me, have fun with me, and let's talk about what you do. What do you want the world to know about what you do? How are you making an impact? Or would you like to make an impact? Let's play. I'm looking for guests to come and join me on these lives so that we can have more engagement. I love interacting with other people, as many of you know. Well, that's why I do what I do, right? I mean, motivation, inspiration, empowerment. That means I love talking and being with people. So this week, I thought, you know what? Let me tackle the topic of great questions, because it's not a topic that we usually talk about, but it's not a topic that is common either, among people. When you talk about them, do you ever ask yourself questions? Do you really make some time to answer some deep questions about life, or just about work, or about business, but just to sit down and really ask yourself some questions and write down some answers, or just have interactions with loved ones or colleagues and ask each other questions and have questions. One of the reasons that also inspired me to do this is on my birthday, March 9th, I received a happy birthday on LinkedIn from many of my colleagues, and connections over on LinkedIn. But one of the, best ones that I received said, listen, I love what you do. I enjoy what you do. I would like to gift you with some of my books. Well, I'm an author, and I thought I never do that, where I could just give away my books, or even think about, what, let me just send you a book on your birthday. What a great gesture that was. So that, author and, guru, he's an expert in, talking about questions, is Mr. Bob Tidd. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So I'm going to share this live with him once we finish. All my lives are recorded, so I'm going to share that with him. But Bob Tidd, that's how I'm pronouncing it. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And here's one thing that I'm going to do as well. I am going to invite him so that I could interview him and really talk about this topic, because he's spoken about it, worked through it for years, and it looks like decades from the books that he sent me. So look at this. I receive a package and there's this book here. Now that's a great question. Was one of those, you see how it says Bob Tidd? If somebody can pronounce it better than I did, please help me out. bad at pronunciations. Okay. And then he also put this book in there, 262 questions Paul the Apostle of Christ asked. Even in the Bible, it was all about the questions, deep ingrained questions. And then he also put this 339 questions Jesus asked, compiled by Bob Tidd. These are the three that I came, with in my office. But I remember that in the package was also some CDs in there, some of these books, on CD that I could play on CD and DVDs. So it was really a great package. Once again, Mr. Tidd, thank you so much, because I'm learning a lot as I'm reading about questions. I knew that questions are really important in our lives, but I did not know that you've done such a thorough work on why we need to ask ourselves questions and why questions are important. So I'm going to be picking on some of the, I read with a pencil, the sip pen, but I read with a pencil and I'm always underlining. That's why I still am a believer in real books and holding real books, right? Because I underline all the books. So he said, great questions make us think. Great answers only reveal what we think. Great questions make us think. Great questions help us identify new opportunities. They clarify the root of a problem. They help us discover a new solution. Wow. How many of you have ever taken that stance of saying, you know what, let me ask myself questions that could lead me to solutions of problems that I'm facing, or problems that surrounding me? Or maybe you are a leader in an organization, because he did a lot of organizational work, and you ask yourself questions as a leader, as well as ask those subordinates questions as a leader. I'm really now as I was reading the books, I said, okay, I have great questions that I would love to have an engaged conversation with him of what, he has experienced and how the questions have helped, people, and his research into this, because then, of course, for him to write these books, he's done really, really thorough research. So here's what he says might be some of the attributes of a great question. This is very important. If you've been doubting that questions, what could a question do? And what kind of questions would I be asking? This part here was very important for me to, understand that. He says, some of the attributes of a great question. When you are asked a great question, it unlocks things that were already there within you, but in ways that you have never before put it together. Very true. I know in my coaching and counseling services, when I'm working with clients, I ask a question, and all of a sudden, I can't tell you, I would be a billionaire if I recorded or even counted how many times people say, I never thought of it that way. I've never thought of putting it in that way, or asking myself that kind of question, but that's very interesting. And it's almost like once somebody says that, I know that all of a sudden they're going to think in a different way, engage in a different way. So that one is a really, really, really good one and poignant one. When you are asked a great question, you are eager to answer. Of course. Because questions open us up. It opens to a great conversation, but then inside, it helps us dig deeper inside, or explore, places within ourselves or conversations that we have not thought about in a way. He also says a great question often shows you the way forward. When you are asked a great question, you feel respected, valued, and heard. Oh. When you are asked a great question, you feel respected, valued, and heard. Now, this is applicable not only among friends, among families, siblings, but in relationships as well. And I'm in relationships in every aspect. Relationships as in love relationships, work relationships, business, collaborations or business relationships that you have. When you ask a question, the other person always feels valued, because now you want to, hear what they have to say. You value what they have to say, and it really makes for a conversation, good conversation. But what I like about it more is it makes for good solutions or resolutions when you feel heard, or when you feel like you matter. Like what you say is going to matter, and what you say is going to make a difference, just by being heard. He also said, when you're asked a great question, it can unlock a memory which you have not recalled for years. Now, this is good for us coaches and counselors, out there, or if you're a person that has never been in counseling or have, ever had a coach, this is good for you to know, because what we do is we ask questions that will help unlock a memory which you have not recalled for years, if it is applicable to what is going on in your life at that point. So we just don't open up Pandora boxes and open up, things that happened in the past just so you can, be triggered and feel more pain again or regress back. No, we do it in conjunction with what's going on with you at that time, because sometimes we have these mental blocks that until somebody asks the right question, you'll never be able to tap into to say, why do I do things this way? Why do I feel this way? And why do I think in a certain way? And why is it that every time that this happened, I feel this way, or I do this way, or I react this way, or respond in this way? It all comes back down to the question that is asked. And that also will help you ask yourself the right questions, so that you don't make yourself anxious about things, or withdraw, from probably showing up or speaking up or saying something, because then, you haven't asked the right question. But when you ask a great question, it can unlock a memory which you can recall, and it can help you manage what is going on at that moment, or whatever situation or environment that you find yourself in, and you cannot find a solution or resolution. Great questions will help. He also said, when you ask a great question, it does not just provide you with an answer, it actually deepens your relationship with the person being asked. Like we said before, honored, respected, valued. So yes, that deepens that relationship, because now they can have a conversation with you. Have you ever been with, people that just want to be the ones that are talking? They just want to be the ones that are being heard. Well, when it comes to being in an organization, those are what we call managers, right? Because leaders will make the time to ask questions, and leaders will make the time to want to value, the people that they are leading. So they're not the ones that are always being heard, or it is what I say goes, but they value the input of those that they are leading, hence, deepening the relationships that they have with, the people that they're asking the questions. The next one says, when you ask a great question, it often helps the person you have asked solve their own problem. Now, that was a secret that I was keeping. So I've been doing my work for 25 years. And in 25 years, I can tell you that questions really play a big role in the work that I do. Because many people think, well, you know what, if I work with a coach or I work with a counselor, they can tell me the answers, they're going to give me the answers. You actually have the answers within you. You actually will be amazed at what is within you and the answers that you have. So I have had this gift of being able to ask the right questions. And sometimes, of course, it might take several sessions for us to continue exploring what would be that aha question that will bring you into that aha moment where you yourself are able to come up with the right solution to your problem that will work for you. And you will know it, you will feel it, and it's just so freeing, but you know it. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? That question that you asked me really helped me throughout the whole week, or the couple of weeks that I have not spoken to you. It helped me come up with all these thoughts, these feelings, these solutions that I've been able to do such and such and such. Isn't that a good feeling? That's a great feeling. But that's the work that we do in order to relieve, some of the stresses or the barriers that might, that one might be going through. And then finally, one of the, things that he wrote there, he says, asking questions of others allows them to own their own decisions. We all want to be heard. We all want to feel powerful. We all want to, be in control, full control of our lives, our choices, what we do and what we accept and not accept, the boundaries that we set in our lives. We all want that. So how wonderful it is to work with someone that will give you back that power, that will allow you to explore, through questions, what, through questions, how you can best live your best life. Let me reframe that, right? That makes sense, right? Give you back the power to live your life the best way that you yourself, know, and how that can work for you. So this was very, intriguing. I'm still reading the books, and still underlining, because that day when I can get an interview with Mr. Bob Teed and ask him, I'm going to be so excited because I'll be ready and prepared. So, what questions have you asked yourself? What powerful questions have you asked yourself? Many times, right? We ask ourselves questions that are on the surface, because then we're afraid of what the deeper, great questions might bring out, of us. And yes, that's a very, very valid reason why it might be challenging and difficult sometimes to answer, great questions. And I understand why people might not be so readily, ready to ask the deep, questions and answer them, because then it's hard. And that's why we do support and become, a support system. So what I wanted to do this week was to leave you with a few great questions. So you might want to take your pen and paper and answer these questions. The good thing is we record, all these lives are recorded, so you'll be able to watch this again and then really get to these questions. So I will start with surface questions that actually will get you to think deeper, but, they will bring out that, childlike person within you, because sometimes we're so so harsh, tough, professional, and I can't be asked such a question, because then it's not thought-provoking enough. Well, I'm not gonna go that deep, but I will leave you with a few questions this week that I would love to hear from you, what your answers, or how just the experience of answering some of these questions have been. And I want to encourage you, if you can, before I get into those questions, if you can, order these books. I mean, you really, really will be glad that you did that. With the books that he had, because then all of them. And I'm a Christian, so which is awesome. And it was very interesting to also, look at some of the questions that I asked, in the Bible, which I had never thought about, to really look at the questions that are in the Bible. So for another day, we'll do that one and look at the great questions that are in here. But for you today, here are the questions that I want to leave you with, so that I wrote them down. I want to make sure that I can give you the few questions there, what I call deep questions. If you ever work with me, I have so much fun with people, because then we get to answer some of these life questions, and I give what I call self-reflection, moments, which is / homework. So some of the homework that I give is usually, a self-reflection on some of these questions. And then we have some really deep discussions when we do meet in our sessions. So the first one is, okay, let me find some that are not really okay. So if you were to have an ideal life, and you woke up and your life is ideal, what would your life look like? If you were to wake up and your life is ideal, you have everything that you want, everything that you need, what would that life look like? If you were to do the things that you want to do this 2023, with this one, I want you to close your eyes. It's December 31st, 2023, and you're looking back at the year. What have you accomplished? What have you completed? What have you learned? What's one new thing that you have done that just surprised you this 2023? I think that will give you quite a few things to write about. Self-reflection questions. Those are the questions that I gave you for self-reflection. So for this week, I hope that you've enjoyed my pick for this week to just talk about the power of great questions. And once again, I want to thank Mr. Bob Teed for sending me the greatest birthday ever. Now, that's a great question. Was one of the books, that he sent that I'm still reading and, learning from, because questions reveal who we are. They also reveal what it is that you're supposed to be doing, which is your mission, your calling, your passion. Through questions. Questions will help you reveal that. So let's start with these few questions that I gave you today of just this ideal life that you would wake up to. And also at the end of 2023, what are those things that you have done, that you have accomplished, and you have so excited? It's a celebration, evening for you on the 31st of December when you open your eyes and you're celebrating the things that you're just like amazed at that you've been able to do this 2023. Write those things down. So here's, another thing I'm offering you. I always have, this opportunity, if you have not seen it, that I can talk to you for 30 minutes, a free introduction, 30 minutes. So if this is one of the things that you want to discuss and say, you know what? I watched your live and I actually wrote down the things that you asked in there and I wanted to discuss with you. I'll give you 30 minutes free. So just go ahead and schedule an appointment. Visit my website, www. like it is right here, drstemi.com, and just go in where it says, make an appointment, or you can inbox me, email me, or under these videos, just write the word more, M-O-R-O, R-O. M-O-R-E, more. If you do that, I will reach out to you, give you my schedule, and you can pick a date and time and we can talk. So those are what I call discovery calls. Discovery calls, we get to talk about your life, we get to talk about where you are, and we get to explore how else, that you can continue to expand, on your life. And if there's anything that I can do to help out, then, and see if we are a match to work together, then I can show you also some of the things that you can do to work with me, or programs that you can, access through the Empowerment Academy that I run, then that would be great. Or maybe you just want to talk about these questions and the answers that you came up with. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. So go ahead to my website and book a free site. Next week, we're going to be talking, I don't know. Do you want to be my guest? Come be my guest. But I'm always excited and I will be here. I will be here. I don't know what I'll talk about, but I'll be here next week. We're talking about life. It's about inspiring you, encouraging you, and empowering you. So there's always a lot that we can talk about. This is Dr. Stem. And as I always say, be encouraged.